In this video, we're going to detail out the battery. All right, so let's go ahead and select our battery piece. And we have a few different details that we want to work on with this. So let's go ahead and go to Edit Poly. And I'm going to isolate this for right now. And what I want to do is I want to take the polygons that are on the back side and let's move those back just a little bit, give myself a little bit more space here. And what I'm looking for is I want to create this kind of ridge grip thing across the front here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edge Mode. I'm going to select this edge and hit Ring. And let's use Connect. And I'm going to use a whole bunch of these. And I'm just going to have this right across the back here. And actually, you know what? I want to separate this out. I don't want it to go across between this edge and this edge. Let's go ahead and just connect one for right now. And let's take that, and then I'm going to move this back to right about here. And then I'll do that connection. Select this one and hit Ring. And let's do Connect. There we go. And let's do something like maybe 9 different edges here. And what I'm looking to do is actually just kind of raise up every other one. So let's hit OK on this, and I'm going to double click here. And then I'm going to double click on this one, just kind of skipping every other one. That looks pretty good. And then in my left view, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hold down Alt and then deselect the ones that are on the side. So I just have the top. And let me think about this. No, let's go all the way around. I think that would be an interesting shape. Let's grab the Scale tool, and I'm going to left click and hold on that. I want to scale it uniformly across the Z and X, and it's gonna actually, let's push it down into that, so we're left with something that looks like this. And so what will happen now, if I were to look at this smoothed out, it will kind of give us this little bit of a ridge that we would want in this. So that feels pretty good. And let's add in maybe a little clip piece in that. So to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edge Mode and double click this middle edge, and I'm going to use chamfer on it. And let's chamfer it, and let's do maybe 2 on that. And there we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Polygon Mode, and let's select all of these polygons right here. And with these selected, just these, I'm not worried about this one. Let's go ahead and select it too. Let's extrude it up, and I don't want to go all the way up like that. So we're going to extrude it up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flatten that out. So to flatten it out, let's use Make Planar in the Y. There we go. And then let's grab our Move tool. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Vertex Mode. And I'm going, actually, let's go to Edge Mode. Let's take this edge and let's just push that forward a little bit. And I'm going to just kind of do that with the rest of these till right about here. Now watch what this does. If I go to the Open Subdiv, look at that smoothed out. It started, but we need to make sure that we crease that up. Okay, so everything's looking good so far. So now I've finished with those details. I have one more that I want on the back, and I want to create this circular detail that will kind of be the light to indicate that the product is on. Okay. So I can do this a number of different ways, but a way that I like to create cylinders very quickly is to divide the polygons into 4 different quads. So I'm going to go to Edge Mode. Let's take this edge and hit Ring. Let's connect it with a single edge, and let's hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Vertex Mode, and with this vertex selected, I'm just going to chamfer this, and I'm going to chamfer this out, and let's do 3 on that. And I'm going to hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this vertex and this one. I'm going to use Connect. And then we're going to right click and cut from this vertex down. So I've got my midpoint in this diamond. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from here to this corner. And then I'm going to do that to each corner on this. Okay, so I'm just showing you another way of creating cylindrical shapes in the middle of your polygons. Okay, so now that I have that, let's take these polygons in the middle of those, and I'm just going to scale those outward, and let's hit V and then K and Z so we can see that. And I've got this cylindrical shape now that feels pretty good. And then I'm going to, actually I'm looking at this and I see the shape is just a little off. I don't really like that. So what I'm going to do is actually make this flat there. Oops. And let's be careful of what we're doing there. Let's not grab all of those. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself. Let's see. Let's actually do just these polygons, or these vertices. Actually, we can do polygon. That'll be a lot easier. Select that. Let's make planar in the X direction. Same thing here. X. And then on this one, do Y. And that'll just kind of straighten up that back a little bit. Okay. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and go to our back view, hit V and then K. And then let's take these polygons here. Actually, let's take these edges right here and let's hit Control Backspace on those. And then we'll go to polygon mode, select these 4 polygons, and then we're going to inset that. And one thing that I'm noticing is that it's not actually perfectly cylindrical. It's because of these vertices right here. So let me show you a really cool trick. Let's go to edge mode. Let's actually remove these edges. So hit Control Backspace and then select just that polygon. And then we can come up to polygons and hit this geopoly. Watch what that does. See how that evens it out, makes it a perfect cylinder. That's a really, really cool trick, and that's one that I use quite a bit. So with that, let's now inset it. And let's inset it just a little bit because we're going to create this crease around it. And then I'm going to inset it again and bring that down quite a bit. And this is where the light is going to be. And I will inset it one more time. Make it just a tiny amount. And there we go. So now I can just select those edges or those polygons and then just extrude those in a negative direction. There we go. So now I have those. Those are all in place. It looks good. Really happy with that. So now let's do something really quickly. I'm looking at, no, I think we're okay. Let's go ahead and smooth it out. See what that looks like. Feel pretty good about that. Let's go ahead and add our crease set modifier. And let's go to edge mode. And I'm going to do this pretty quickly. I'm just going to go around and do the corners because that's really what I'm worried about. I like the roundness that it's giving me all the way through. So I just kind of want to play around with the corners a little bit. I don't want to grab those edges. Okay. So that feels pretty good. And let's just use a crease set and let's bump this up a little bit. I'm just going to start to kind of pull that up. And let me actually take this entire loop all the way around here. Let's add that to another crease set. And I want to see it with the rest of that. And it doesn't look like it's fitting all that well. So I'm going to actually delete that first crease set that we made. So that way it just sticks to that shape there. And that feels good. Now with this one right here, let's double click on this edge and this one. And we also need to grab the one below it. We need to crease that. So let's go ahead and use a crease set. Pull that up. Hit F3 just to kind of see what that's looking like. And sorry about that. I'm losing it in the perspective view. So that feels good. And I want to take these loops that we have here. And we might crease those just a little bit just to kind of shape it up some. I think we've got all of them except for what's on the top here. There we go. And I'm okay with that one. We'll leave that one alone. And then we'll just add them to that last selection there. So now that hardens up really well. I like the way that looks. Feels good. So there's the battery kind of sticking up off there. We've got our little clip that pops into that. And yeah, I like the way that looks. So now that we've finished up the battery, we've got our light indicator here on the back. We could add the creases for it. So if we just came in and we said, all right, let's hit this loop here. Actually, let me select this one loop and then hit ring. And then I'm just going to deselect the rest of that. So I'm just going to deselect all of this, all of those, and these. Hit F3 just to make sure you don't have any other edges other than that, and then add those to a new crease set, and we'll do 0.15. And 0.15, not 1. So that feels good. Happy with that. Let's turn off that edge. And that turned out great. I'm really happy with the way that battery's fitting into the rest of the drone. And this is starting to look like an actual product. I know very early on when we were basically blocking things in, we were just getting those forms. It's important to recognize that things will work out in the end. So always look forward to what it's going to look like as its smoothed result. So we've pretty much wrapped up all of the different methods, but I do want to finish out this particular piece because we do have a couple of objects that need to be creased. Now I would go ahead and challenge you to try some of these other pieces and try to get them back to their original shape by using the crease set modifier and adding any details that you see along the way using the same techniques that we've used already. So in the next lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to start creasing the rest of these pieces, and I'm actually going to start going a little bit faster just to get those things finished, and then we'll be wrapping up the modeling portion of this. So I'll see you in the next lesson.